I've always believed that if you're good at something, you should use it to make your work life easier. For years, I'd been a senior data analyst at this mid-sized tech company. The pay was decent, the work was interesting, but our internal processes were a mess. We were constantly dealing with data bottlenecks, manual entry errors, and reports that took days, sometimes weeks, to generate. It was inefficient and costing the company a fortune in wasted hours. So, on my own time, nights, weekends, you know the drill, I started building something. I used my personal laptop, my own software licenses, and my own brainpower to create a fully automated data processing and reporting system. I'll call it Apex. Apex was my baby. It could pull data from multiple sources, clean it, analyze it, and generate beautiful, insightful dashboards in minutes, not days. It was slick, it was fast, and it was entirely mine. After a few months of development, I decided to use it for my own tasks at work. The results were immediate and staggering. My productivity shot through the roof. Reports that used to take me a week were now done in an afternoon. My manager, Dave, was blown away. He didn't know the specifics of how I was doing it, he just knew I was some kind of data wizard. My performance reviews were stellar, and I even got a nice bonus. The company was benefiting hugely, and I was getting recognized for it. It felt like a win-win. I was saving them thousands of hours, which translated to hundreds of thousands of dollars. For about 2 years, this was the status quo. I was the go-to guy for any urgent data requests because everyone knew I could deliver at lightning speed. I never told anyone about Apex in detail. I just referred to it as my system. It was my secret weapon, my competitive edge. The code, the architecture, the whole thing lived on my personal cloud and my laptop. It never touched the company's servers. Then, everything changed. Our department got a new vice president. Let's call him Victor. Victor was one of those corporate climbers. Slicked back hair, expensive suit, and a smile that never quite reached his eyes. He came in with a mandate to optimize efficiency and leverage existing assets. On his first week, he called a meeting with all the senior analysts. He wanted to understand our workflows, our tools, and our best practices. When it was my turn, I explained my role and how I handled complex data requests. Dave, my direct manager, chimed in. "Oh, you have to see what he can do. He's got this system that's pure magic, turns week-long projects into afternoon tasks." Victor's eyes lit up, not with curiosity, but with a kind of predatory gleam. He leaned forward and said, "A system, you say? Excellent. That's exactly the kind of proprietary innovation I want to scale across the entire organization. I'll need you to schedule a full demo for me and my tech lead next week. We'll need to see the source code, architecture diagrams, everything. We need to integrate this into the company's official tech stack." I felt a cold knot form in my stomach. I tried to explain, "Well, Victor, I appreciate the interest, but this is a personal project I developed on my own time. I use it to enhance my own workflow, but it's not company property." Victor just chuckled. It was a condescending, dismissive sound. "Nonsense," he said. "You're a salaried employee. Any work you do that benefits the company, especially work done to improve your job performance, is considered company intellectual property. It's standard. Our legal team will back me up on this." He then turned to my manager. "Dave, make sure he has all the documentation ready for the transfer." I was stunned. Dave looked uncomfortable, but just nodded. In that one meeting, my personal project, my baby, was being commandeered. After the meeting, I tried to talk to Dave privately. "Dave, you know I built this myself. It's not theirs to take." He was sympathetic, but spineless. "Look, my hands are tied. Victor is the new VP. He's a bulldog. If he wants the system, he's going to get it. Just give it to them. It's not worth fighting." But it was worth fighting. I went home that night, fuming. I consulted a lawyer friend who specialized in intellectual property. He looked over my employment contract. It had a pretty standard IP clause, but with a key exception. It didn't cover creations made on the employee's own time, using their own equipment, that weren't directly related to a specific company-assigned project. Since I built Apex on my own initiative, with my own tools, I was in the clear. Legally, it was mine. Armed with this knowledge, I decided to play my hand carefully. I agreed to the demo meeting with Victor and his tech lead. I walked in, connected my personal laptop to the projector, and gave them the grand tour. I showed them the slick user interface, the automated reports, the real-time dashboards. I showed them how it could process a month's worth of sales data in under 5 minutes. Their jaws were on the floor. Victor looked like he'd just discovered a gold mine. "This is even better than I imagined," he said, rubbing his hands together. "Fantastic work. All right, send the repository access to my tech lead by the end of the day. We'll take it from here." That's when I dropped the bomb. "I'm glad you're impressed, Victor," I said, my voice calm and steady. "As you can see, this is a very powerful tool, and as a proprietary system I developed personally, I'm currently offering licenses for its use. Given the value it's already provided the company, I think a corporate license fee of $200,000 a year is more than fair. That includes maintenance, support, and regular updates. I have a contract ready for your legal team to review." The silence in the room was deafening. Victor's face went through several shades of red. His tech lead just stared at his shoes. "Are you joking?" Victor finally sputtered. "I told you, this is company property." "I'm afraid it's not," I replied, pulling out a printed copy of my lawyer's analysis of my employment contract. "According to Section 7B of my employment agreement, this system, developed on my own time with my own resources, is my personal intellectual property. But I'm happy to lease it to the company so you can continue to benefit from it." Victor was furious. He threatened to fire me. He threatened to sue me. I calmly told him that firing me would mean losing the only person who knew how to operate the system, and the company's productivity would immediately plummet. Suing me would be a waste of money, as the contract was clear. He stormed out of the room. The next few days were tense. I came to work and did my job, but I stopped using Apex. Suddenly, those week-long reports were taking a week again. Urgent requests piled up. Other departments started complaining about delays. The efficiency Victor was so keen to optimize had vanished overnight. The company was feeling the pain of not having my system. About a week later, I was called into a meeting with Victor, Dave, and someone from HR. The tone was completely different. Victor was still angry, but the bluster was gone. They had clearly spoken to their own legal department, who had likely told them the same thing my lawyer told me. They had no claim. They tried to negotiate. They offered me a one-time innovation bonus of $10,000 to hand over the system. I politely refused. I held my ground. I knew the value of what I had built. I repeated my offer, a yearly licensing fee. Ultimately, they had no choice. They were losing more money each day from the dip in productivity than the cost of my license. They grudgingly agreed to my terms. They drew up a formal vendor contract, treating me, the employee, as an external contractor for the licensing of Apex. It was a strange but incredibly empowering situation. I was still their senior data analyst, but I was also the CEO of a one-man company leasing critical software to my own employer. Victor never looked me in the eye again, but the rest of the company treated me with a new level of respect. I had stood up for myself and the value of my work. The biggest mistake Victor made was assuming that just because I worked there, he owned my every thought and creation. He learned the hard way that my brain and the things it builds on my own time belong to me. Thanks for watching. If you've ever been in a similar situation, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.